Thank you for taking the time to join us today. I'll get started right away. This slide shows you an overview of third quarter performance. Net sales increased 29.5% year-on-year to 69.99 billion yen. Operating profit was up 30.8% to 8.61 billion yen. From net sales through to net profit, all results are record highs this quarter, and in the 3 years since 2010, profit has doubled. Here you can see results as a percentage of year-end forecasts. We are at the end of the third quarter, so we should ideally be around the 75% mark. However, as you can see, net sales, operating profit, ordinary profit are all strong, and as of today, we have revised year-end forecasts upward. The revised forecasts and percentage rise are shown here. These forecasts reflect the strong performance we have seen through to the third quarter this year, but we have taken a slightly conservative approach in regard to the fourth quarter. At the same time, we have also announced an upward revision of forecast dividends. GMO Internet's dividend payout policy aims to pay out 33% of consolidated net profit in dividends. In line with the 200 million yen increase in forecast net profit, we are now forecasting a 1 yen per share increase in dividends in the fourth quarter. This slide presents some of the highlights of the third quarter. Overall net sales rose 29.5% and profit increased by 30.8%. This is mainly a result of strong growth across all segments, as well as a recovery in profitability in the securities segment. The lower part of this slide shows a breakdown by segment. In the 9 months to September, web infrastructure revenue increased 27.7% year-on-year to record high levels. E-commerce solutions and security were particularly strong and were key growth drivers in the current quarter. In the Internet Media segment, revenue grew 14.5%. In this segment, we are shifting focus from traditional display ads to display ad networks in line with industry trends. In Internet Securities, profit for the first 9 months of the year was up 10% over the previous corresponding term. Later in the presentation, I will talk about some of the external factors impacting the segment in the previous quarter, and the measures we implemented in response. Since August, the market environment has somewhat normalized, and we have seen a recovery in FX earnings. In the smartphone game business, earnings fell 6.7%. While we are now a quarter behind in achieving profitability, we continue to view smartphone games as a growth market. This is also a market subject to a lot of short-term volatility, but we continue to aggressively pursue expansion in the market segment. In the next part of the presentation, I will talk about third quarter results in more detail. This table compares results to September in the current year with results during the same period in the previous year. Operating profit margin is up 0.1 point, and net profit has increased a significant 38%. Moving on to the balance sheet condition. For your reference, a summary of GMO Click Holdings' balance sheet is shown on the right. Excluding the securities segment, the balance sheet position is at around 60 billion yen. Interest-bearing liabilities have increased, and liquidity on hand is also up due to an increase in transactions at the end of September in the securities segment. However, these are temporary factors, and we view the current balance sheet position as satisfactory. The next slide shows cash flow. 980 million yen was generated in operating cash flow. 1.33 billion yen was used in investing activities, and 14.76 billion yen was generated in financing activities. Cash and equivalents at the end of the term stood at 54.94 billion yen. On this slide, also, GMO Click Holdings cash flow is provided for your reference. You can see that GMO Click reported a negative operating cash flow and a positive financing cash flow, but as I explained earlier, this is a result of temporary factors. This diagram represents the group's 4 business segments. From the top left, they are Web Infrastructure and E-Commerce, Internet Media, Internet Securities, and in the lower part of the diagram, Social and Smartphone. Today, following my presentation, GMO Cloud and Paperboy & Co. will be presenting quarterly results. GMO Cloud operates web hosting and security services in our Web Infrastructure and Media segment, and Paperboy & Co. provide e-commerce solutions and internet media for the consumer market. I encourage you to stay for these presentations to gain a deeper understanding of group strategy. This slide shows the composition of group staff. As of the end of September, out of a total of 3,533 staff, 1,148 are engineers. Almost all of the products we provide are developed, operated, and supported in-house. This is what gives the group its agility. In terms of both size and skill, we are proud to have one of the strongest technology teams in Japan. This next slide lists group news in the current quarter. As you can see, we have been very active in introducing a number of new services, both in Japan and globally. Please take a look at this when you have some time. This graph represents a breakdown of net sales by segment. Revenue growth has held at around 30% for the past 3 consecutive quarters, which is a result of strong performance in the group's 3 established business segments. Moving on to operating profit by segment. Losses in social and smartphone have been reduced, and we will continue growing profits in this segment in the next fiscal year. This graph shows net sales in web infrastructure and e-commerce by product subsegment. In addition to the consistently strong web hosting and payment processing subsegments, we are also seeing accelerated growth in security and e-commerce solutions. External factors, including expansion in the e-commerce and smartphone markets, are positively impacting the entire segment. This slide shows net sales and operating profit in the web infrastructure and e-commerce segment over the past 3 years. As you can see, both sales and profits are trending upward. This slide shows business composition in the web infrastructure and e-commerce segment. The pace of the market share growth is accelerating. In the e-commerce solutions business, we have 83,000 stores, including 68,000 paid stores. Moving on to contracts in the web infrastructure and e-commerce segment. At the end of the third quarter, contracts totaled 4.93 million. In the next quarter, we expect to top 5 million contracts. Note that this figure does not include customers using our free services. It also does not include 200,000 users of our access provider services. The majority of these contracts represent recurring revenue as well as cross-sell opportunities throughout the group. This graph shows SSL certificate issues and sales in the security subsegment. The bars represent certificate issues and the lines show sales. As you can see, represented by the darker blue, global certificate issues have increased a massive 84% year-on-year, and our global customer base in particular is growing rapidly. This is a result of growth and recognition of the GMO Global Sign brand and a high-quality product that is easy to implement. Global business now accounts for 60% of net sales.
GMO グローバルサインの海外売上比率は 6割まで迫っております。
Moving on, I'd like to talk about something we have seen a lot of interest in from our investors, and that is new GTLDs, or new domains. Analysts have identified .Tokyo as one of the businesses set to benefit from the Tokyo Olympics. We have applied to operate a total of 7 new domains, and of those we have already secured 3 geodomains, .Tokyo, .Nagoya, and .Yokohama. .Tokyo is expected to launch around spring, and .Nagoya in the first quarter of next year. The 4 remaining domains, including .shop and .mail, will be decided by auction, probably in the first half of next year. We will continue to keep you updated on progress. Once these new domains are launched, we expect they will drive further growth in web hosting, e-commerce, security, payment, and other web infrastructure products, and generate new synergies throughout the group. Moving on to the Internet Media segment, net sales in the first 9 months of the year grew 14.5% Y-on-Y to 22.4 billion yen. As usage of smartphone and tablet devices continues to grow, the Internet advertising market also continues to expand. We are also seeing a shift in demand from traditional display advertising, where the advertiser selects the placement of their ad, towards an ad network comprising a broad range of publishers that enables the advertiser to maximize their results. As a result, our ad network products have performed quite well, and revenue in the segment increased 14.5% overall.
これらの背景から運用型アドネットワーク広告が好調となり 14.5% の増収となりました。
This graph shows historical performance by quarter. Net sales increased 10.2% to 7.3 billion yen. Operating profit has remained virtually flat since the previous third quarter. This is a result of our own high-margin search advertising products comprising less of overall profit composition, and we are working to improve this.
利益への影響が出ておりますが、足元は回復基調となっております。こちらは当社グループ
This slide shows the group's display ad network products. Ad technology has become increasingly important for advertisers to optimize their ad spend. Ad tech products that allow advertisers to more effectively target advertising are performing well as demand increases in comparison to traditional display advertising. Some of our products in this field include proprietary ad networks, Ad Result, and NeoAd by GMO Ad Partners, and GMO SMAAD by GMO Tech. GMO DSP, an ad optimization platform for advertisers, and GMO SSP, a platform for publishers, are also performing well. GMO Internet Group's products are developed, operated, sold, and supported in-house, and this allows us to quickly respond to diverse and evolving customer needs.
また、広告主様向けの広告出稿最適化プラットフォームの GMO DSP、メディア様の収益最大化プラットフォーム GMO SSP など、アドテクノロジーの重要性が非常に高まる中、好調に推移をいたしております。当社グループは自社商品を開発し、販売・運用・サポートを行う強みから、多様化するクライアントニーズにスピーディーに対応する運用を行ってまいりたいと考えております。
Moving on to the Internet Security segment. Profitability has recovered after we implemented measures in response to external factors impacting performance. Q on Q, there was a drop in profit, but overall profitability has improved. We will show external factors impacting this segment on the following slides.
外部環境につきましては、次ページ以降でご説明をさせていただきます。まずこちらでございますが、当社の
Firstly, I will talk about FX and securities trading volume. In June and July, FX trading peaked at over 100 trillion yen a month, but since August, volume has returned to a level similar to that of the beginning of the year. This slide shows market trading volume by currency pair. At its peak, the dollar-yen currency pair accounted for over 80% of trading volume, but it has now dropped back to around 70%. This is a very narrow spread pair, so this decreased weight and composition of overall trading volume contributes to improved profitability. Finally, on the cost side, in Internet securities, we have seen bank rates drop back rapidly. This has eliminated the increase in costs we talked about in the last quarter presentation, and is contributing to increased profitability in the current quarter. In this segment, we continue to expand market share and grow services globally, while maintaining a cost leadership strategy.
シェアの拡大と海外展開を通じてマーケットで主導権を握り、当社の強みであるコストリーダーシップ戦略を今後も推進してまいります。こちらはスマートフォンゲーム事業のご説明となります。
Lastly, we move on to the smartphone game business. We had aimed to achieve profitability in this segment in the third quarter, but we are now about a quarter behind our initial estimate. However, we are continuing to improve key performance indicators, and I believe that the business remains strong. I will talk about the current position of the business, issues we are facing, and countermeasures being implemented on the following page. This slide shows the status of the smartphone games business in the third quarter and plans for the fourth quarter onward. The launch of our major IP title has taken longer than expected. We are continuing to fine-tune the game. As soon as it is ready, we will begin a large-scale promotion and move into the customer acquisition stage. We expect this to be around the end of this year or the beginning of next year. Next, in the third quarter, we introduced 3 100% native apps and plan to introduce another 6 during the fourth quarter. This is expected to contribute to profits. In regard to multi-market strategy, our iOS launch has also progressed slightly slower than expected. In the third quarter, collectible card games that we had already seen results with in the Android market were introduced onto the iOS platform. However, the trend in iOS games is rapidly moving towards full native apps, and as of the third quarter, we are revising our strategy to focus on full native apps. We will begin by monetizing these apps on the Android platform. Lastly, as we continue to strengthen our game business, we have acquired the company GamePot. This is expected to significantly enhance our development capabilities, and we believe this gives us one of the strongest game development teams in Japan. I'd like to briefly introduce some of our full native titles. This game combines RPG and a slot machine game. This next game is called Shooting Yusha. It combines a nostalgic role-playing game with an action shooting game. Finally, I would like to talk about our competition strategy in the smartphone game sub-segment. On October 21st, we announced the acquisition of GamePot. GamePot has over 10 years' experience in online games and mobile content. As you can see here, they have released many successful game titles for PC, and recently they have moved into the smartphone space. GamePot's many years of experience and expertise in online game operation is expected to contribute to the further growth of Jige. The objective of the acquisition was to generate both development and customer acquisition synergies between the two companies. This final slide presents a brief overview of the two companies' strengths. Bringing GamePot into the group is expected to significantly enhance smartphone development capabilities. With over 300 developers, we now rank amongst one of the largest game developers in Japan. Through efficient development and knowledge sharing, we continue to work toward making the game and mobile content segment the fourth pillar of the group's profits. We look forward to your ongoing support. Thank you for joining us today. Internet for everyone.